Well, I have other plans tonight.
What are your other plans?
Things of a personal nature.
I'd love to know what they are. We're very personal on our radio show. We always talk about personal things.
You got to open up to the audience. Got to be transparent.
So what are you doing tonight?
I'm having a little procedure done tonight.
What kind of procedure are you having done?
Not a nose job, as many of you may think I would. No.
That's the comments I get usually.
That tattoo hair?
I'm not getting the tattooed hair.
No,
I will not look any different. Tomorrow when I come in.
So it's not an elective procedure, is it?
It's not elective at all.
So it's something you
mandated by the doctor.
Mandated by the doctor?
Doctor said you have to do this, and we're going to do it tonight.
Have I had this procedure?
I believe you have.
Oh, I have?
Yep.
Okay,
That's
well,
right.
what procedure is it?
I'm having root canal tonight at 7:30.
Because you don't brush your teeth, you disgusting
I was waiting
pig.
for it. That's because that's what I said to you.
That's exactly what you said to me.
I do brush my teeth.
Not well enough.
I broke my tooth on a Tic Tac.
And why is that?
I don't know.
Because your tooth was rotten to the core.
I don't know. It might be. So the guy's like, look, we got to go in and do the whole thing.
Dude, it's rough, man.
I don't like and I have a legitimate fear of the dentist.
Well, I'm going to make it worse.
It is an irrational fear.
The root canal is a disaster.
No, he's not doing the damn thing.
You're not going to get through it, dude.
Oh, is that where we're going?
We're going to need a fill-in tomorrow.
We're gonna do.
Spike, we need a fill-in.
I'm just telling you, they promised me they're not doing that rubber dam thing.
Why not?
Because I told them I'll walk out.
Yeah, but then how are they going to do it? You got to keep your mouth open.
It's an upper tooth. So I guess they don't have to do the damn thing. You know the thing I'm talking about?
I've had it.
Yeah, I actually ran out of a dentist's office right around the time we started the show, yeah. Couldn't do it. So then I had them put me to sleep. I did sedation dentistry. They give you the propofol, the Michael Jackson stuff, or like when you have a colonoscopy, they knock you out cold. You wake up, done. Done and done. It's awesome.
And that is appealing.
Yeah, but this guy won't do it.
Why not?
I said, look, I'll self-medicate. I'm good with that. I'll come in stoned as a you-know-what. And he goes, do what you got to do. He goes, I do have an option for you.
What was that?
He goes, I could play the Michael K. show for you. And I was like, you know what, Doc? I'm going to man up tonight, and I'm going to see if I can get through it. And I swear to God, the dentist said that.
Look at you at nighttime root canal.
7:30 tonight, root canal. Woo! Yeah.
Dude, they're the worst.
I am already panicked about it.
No, you should be.
I'm already panicked. I have sweats.
Oh.
It's no joke. I will have a panic attack.
Dude, I wake up
in the chair when he's going in. I will have a full-on panic attack.
I wish I could make it better for you, but I wake up at least twice a week in a cold sweat thinking about my experience of getting a root canal.
Well, when I was a kid, it was different. In the 70s, there was no like, hey, let's be easy on children. Mm-hmm. They didn't give you Novocaine. There's no gas or nothing like that. They just went in and did it.
They just dug in.
And like they tied you down. No joke.
God.
And then at the end, they let you go in a little treasure chest and get like a little mini ball.
Oh, great.
Yeah, that's what, back in the 70s, that's what it was. So I grew an irrational fear of the dentist. So I met the guy last week. I go, look, Doc, I'm just going to keep it straight. I am the worst patient you will ever see. I'm great with pain. I can take pain. I'm no problem with that. But I have a fear of you. And you got to knock me out. He goes, I don't do that. He goes, I'll numb you up. You won't feel a thing. I go, I'll take care of the medicine. All right. I've got sour diesel lined up just for tonight.
Wow.
Yes. But you numb me till I can't feel my head.
And it's a long procedure.
Half hour.
Really?
Yeah, half
Mine was like 3 hours long.
Well, because you don't brush. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Here's Chris in Belleville on the fan. Yo, Chris, what's up?
What's up, guys?
All good.
Hey, so listen, my problem with the press conference yesterday is to me, watching Salah now for a couple of years, there's a few times where he just doesn't come across as genuine to me with his answers. I'll take him for his word that it was a 2-hour delay because of some personal thing going on.
Well, you kind of have to take his word at that, right?
Yeah, I will. But he started off the press conference by saying he wasn't going to name the quarterback because he needed to watch the tape and everything needed to be evaluated.
Yeah.
Later in the press conference, a reporter asked him, why did you flip-flop from what you said yesterday after the game?
Yeah.
And he said, well, I watched the tape on the plane and realized that everybody...
No, I heard that. I think listen, number one, it's not a long flight, right? From New England, from Foxborough, wherever they fly to, I guess it's Boston, right? To here. So that's one thing. Number two, I think you got to give him a little bit of a pass on that specific aspect. Like, he's not watching the tape critically on the plane back. He's watching the tape.
No, because the truth is, even though he won't admit it, his reaction was caused by what Zach said after the game. That contributed to it.
Isn't saying that I need to watch the tape. Now, if we all think that Mike White's going to be the guy, if we all think that Zach Wilson is going to be the guy, isn't it worse now if he does say Zach Wilson is the quarterback? Now all the questions are going to be like, what the hell did
I
you
don't
possibly see on that
think,
tape?
Chris, I agree with you, but I don't think he's saying these things for you and I. I think he's saying these things to send a message to the quarterback. I don't think he's caring about what Rich Cimini's follow-up is on Wednesday or what you think or what I think. Yeah, there are holes in his story, absolutely. And this has gone on for a while. I've called Sal out on this. He flip-flops a lot. Yeah. He has before. But I really believe that this is about sending a message to Zach Wilson.
I think, to be fair, he answered that one question when one of the reporters, I don't know who it was, you asked about after the game you said he's the guy, and now you're saying he may not be the guy. I think you do give a coach a little latitude on that. Like when you ask him right after the game, emotionally goes literally from the field. It's a quick address the team, then you're in front of the media. So I'll give him a little attitude on that. Big picture, though, this might be, outside of getting the gig, the most important press conference he has tomorrow. Yeah, when he announces the why, whatever the decision is.
I don't think that's the important part. The important part is, A, who'd he go with?
Okay.
And B, how long does he stick with that guy if he doesn't play well? It's all about the decisions that are made, not trying to explain them.
Why? Yeah, listen, if you go to Mike White, no matter who you go to, it's got to be a short leash,
He's
right?
not going to Mike White. You really think he is? You think he's going to Joe Flacco?
I think Zach Wilson's starting against the Bears. I think if this were the San Francisco 49ers, maybe not. If this were the Dolphins, maybe not. Teams with really good defenses.
Sure.
If this were the Cowboys, maybe not. I think they have, at some point, and I think they're already at that point, right? I don't think they need another day. I think they know exactly who the starting quarterback's going to be. And I think they're at Florham Park right now coming up with the game plan to accentuate whoever the quarterback is, right?
Sure.
Because the Bears' defense is not very good.
Right.
That's not your problem.
Right.
Right? And if you're going to build a kid up, it's against this defense. So I think it's going to be Zach, but I don't think it's a lot of leeway for him.
No. I think he's absolutely opened up the door, rightfully so. I agree with this, to saying if he struggles, I pull him, which he could have done on Sunday. He claimed after the game it never even went through his mind, which is ridiculous. Now, against Chicago on Sunday.
Pardon me, I think you were right as to why.
Because of the score.
Yeah, if they're down 13-3, it's a different ballgame.
Isn't that more of a reason to make a quarterback change, though?
Yeah, I'm with you.
If you're losing a game 24-3 and it's a blowout and you make a quarterback change and Mike White plays well, it's easy to dismiss it because it was a blowout and say, what the hell does that mean? If you make a quarterback change at 3-3, you're trying to win a football game.
Right.
And that's where we are now. We are no longer in the world of developing a quarterback. Who's my future quarterback? That's something we'll answer in February and March. Right now, it's they have to win football games because, Craig, they can make the playoffs.
Right.
It's on the table. It's right in front of them.
Which is why, if you even, I hate this, but if you tell me as a fan, listen, this game, this guy's starting because he gives us the best chance to win, I'll take that right now because I have a chance to do something I don't do that often. And that's play postseason football.
Well, last year.
And our defense is good enough in January to win a playoff game.
Do you remember last year I got all hot and bothered because the Jets made a decision to start Joe Flacco over Mike White. And I was screaming and yelling, and you came out very rationally and said, here's why they're starting Joe Flacco. You said, because in that building, they really want to win.
Yep.
And they believe Joe Flacco gives them a better chance to win. And I remember saying back to you, but that's not what this should be about. We already know Joe Flacco isn't the long-term answer.
Right.
Let's see what we have in Mike White. A year later, everything's different.
It sure is.
It's completely different.
And that's, by the way, and they get credit for that. It's because they've been successful. Joe Douglas built a hell of a defense. And yeah, your point 25 minutes ago is dead on. This offense has weapons. Now, do we have the best offensive line? I'd agree we don't, especially with the loss of Elijah Vera Tucker, which is a huge loss. And you lose your starting tailback, who's a stud, huge loss. But guess what? We've got talent. We just don't know how to use it.
Be honest.
Or we do know how to use it. We've got the wrong guy at the helm.
Right. Be honest. How much last night? Not necessarily in the first quarter.
It's kind of like the Titanic, right?
What?
The Titanic wasn't the problem. The captain was.
Wasn't the iceberg the problem?
There are also some people that think it got sunk on purpose. Bit of a a Nazi issue there, but it's a
Nazi
very
issue.
convoluted issue.
Didn't it happen long before the Nazis?
There's a thought process
the
about
timeline
that.
is completely screwed up.
Is it though?
Yes.
Okay.
What year did the Titanic sink?
I have no idea.
If I had to guess, I would say like 1917. Let me look that up.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's somewhere around there.
1912.
Yep.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
I was close. 1912.
That's right.
That's prior to even World War
There's
I.
people that think it had a lot to do with the Nazis.
No one thinks that.
There are people out there, Evan, that think that. Yeah, it was a prelude to World War I and II.
It was prior to the U-boats. You know the U-boats?
I do know U-boats. I read Eric Larson's great book. That being said, called Thunderstruck, by the way. Just trust me on that one.
Yeah, what was your point?
Just put that one aside.
I'm not putting that aside.
Sometimes it's the captain, it's not the boat.
Oh, the captain point?
Like the Jets are good enough
Yeah.
to be a playoff team. We got the wrong guy captaining the ship.
How much?
And I don't mean coach, I mean quarterback.
Listen, man, I've never liked the guy. I've never trusted the guy. But how often last night, if you're a Jet fan, did you watch Monday Night Football and actually dream of Jimmy? And say, you know what? Boy, this team would be a lot better with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Listen, that's not fair to ask me because I've taken such a beating on this show and on TV for my love affair with Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, you are the wrong
All
person.
right.
So hear it from me as someone that doesn't love Jimmy Garoppolo. I watched last night, especially in the second, third, and fourth quarter, not as much the first quarter, and said to myself, yeah, he doesn't look half bad right now. I could envision him handing off to Breece Hall next year, dropping off a dime to Elijah Moore next
He's
year.
an outright free agent. Part of his new deal with San Francisco is that they cannot tag him. So he's a free agent. If you watch last night's game, San Francisco poses a problem for everybody.
No doubt.
They can run the ball. They can throw it, not as well, but they've got legitimate weapons. And their defense as good as anybody's in football.
And
that if Bosa's healthy especially, that is a problem.
And next year, there's going to be a different quarterback for this team. There's no doubt in my mind. We now know we all know the answer. We talked about this before the season. We'll know the verdict on Zach before the season's over. Here as we sit here on November 22nd, 2 days before Thanksgiving, verdict's in. He ain't the guy. So for now, for the next 7 weeks, it's figuring out what gives you the best chance to win. But you can mark my words. You can save the tape. There's going to be a veteran quarterback starting for the Jets week 1, 2023.
You think Booger McFarland would say the same thing about LeBron James' son, Bronny?
That he's what?
He's
rich?
never had any accountability his entire life. He grew up with obscene wealth.
Maybe he would. I don't know. I've never heard Booger break down basketball.
Yeah, but it's not even about sports. It's the concept. His concept last night was the reason Zach Wilson is a failure is because he grew up in an upper middle class family.
Right.
He grew up with money. And because he
So
grew
then
up
why
with money,
wouldn't he say that
he's
about
never had
Bronny?
any accountability.
So why wouldn't he say that about
Well,
Bronny?
I'm just wondering if he feels the way about everyone that grew up with a couple dollars in the bank. It was honestly one of the most, asinine and I think probably racist comments I've ever heard on TV.
It's not racist
It's
because
racist.
I've heard it before about other guys. Like, for example, Josh Rosen, who did not turn out to be a good NFL quarterback.
No, he did not.
Excuse me, was criticized coming out of the draft.
Because he had money?
For the same, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%. Like I mentioned it earlier, Steve Young years ago criticized Chris Sims for growing up with money because he was the son of an NFL quarterback.
Well, I can speak for Chris Sims. Phil don't share his money.
So this is not a new criticism. Now, of Zach, it's new, but I've heard this before about quarterbacks, and I agree, by the way, I agree with you.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but it's also
He
not
didn't even
unique.
use the word accountability correctly in his diatribe. And Steve Young was like, what are you, stupid?
Yeah. RG3, too.
RG3 gave her a look like, man, stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking.
But I've heard that about quarterbacks as a criticism. I don't buy it. I don't believe it. Like, Josh Rosen isn't a failure because he grew up with money.
He's a failure because he can't play quarterback.
Right.
Like, having money in the bank doesn't make you a good athlete or a bad athlete.
And I also don't think Zach's lack of accountability is related to the fact he grew up with money, but it's not good. I can tell you that. You have to have accountability as a quarterback in this league.
Yeah, listen, accountability. In life, you need to be accountable for your actions.
But
not just as a quarterback.
Of course, but as a quarterback, you are, right or wrong, the leader of that
You're
team.
the focal point of a franchise.
And
Absolutely.
You can't lose the room. Unless, and this is why the Rodgers thing, when you bring it up, doesn't work, because he could be the quarterback of the team next year. I'd love to see your reaction. When you're that good,
we're going down that road again.
Oh, it'll happen.
We're taking the veteran Green Bay Packer quarterback.
You wanted it a decade and a half ago. You don't want it again?
I don't like Aaron Rodgers.
So it's personal.
Yeah. I just don't like him.
So it's personal.
I just don't think I can hang out and have a beer with him.
Is that what you need from your starting quarterback?
I'd like to.
You need your starting quarterback to be someone you can have a beer with?
I'd like it to be that way, yeah.
That's how you decide?
Well, that's my first of like a 5-rung,
Is that how you vote for president too? Can I have a drink with that person?
By the way, sometimes yes.
A lot of people do.
Yeah, I want a guy that's relatable. I want a guy that could sit down in a bar with me and have a beer and not be weird.
By the way, you know what's great about
that's
that?
not asking too much, by the way.
And I say this as a compliment.
I told you Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
When Rex Ryan jumped the shark in New York, it wasn't about wins and losses to me. It really wasn't. It was when he had that gastric bypass surgery and started wearing jackets and ties.
Right.
Rex Ryan being, and I apologize for this description, kind of being like your sloppy best friend who's in the frat with you, who'll go out and do stupid things after midnight. Mm-hmm. We loved him. When he got into the New York thing and had the gastric bypass and started rocking like the GQ look, that's when he jumped the shark.
It also could have been all the losing.
Didn't help.
That may have had something to do with it.
I agree, it didn't help. Didn't help. Sure. But, man, I want to have a beer with
I want to get this straight. So if the Jets are looking for a new quarterback next year,
go ahead.
The way you're going to pick which guy to go after is the whole, can I go out for a beer with this guy test?
Zach don't even drink. That we knew at the draft this kid was going to be a problem.
But you loved him.
I loved him.
You called him Dan Marino.
I loved him so much.
So what went wrong?
Well, it's not over yet, Evan. He can still resuscitate his career.
Look, come on.
Beat the Chicago Bears, and who do we have after that?
The Minnesota Vikings. And then the Buffalo Bills on the road.
That could be 3 straight losses.
I want to be wrong real badly. I really do.
Well, the coin flip guy says that we lose to Chicago.
Yeah, and then beat Minnesota and Buffalo.
We beat Minnesota and Buffalo.
And don't run the table.
And everybody else.
I think the coin flip guy has the Jets losing the next 2 games.
That's correct.
Or not the next game, and then winning every other game but one, and then going to the AFC Championship game. But Craig, come on. Zach's not the guy. He may play well against Chicago. We may compliment him. I'm not saying I'll never compliment Zach Wilson again. I call it like I see it. But as we call it like we see it, Zach Wilson is not the long-term answer here. You know it. Big Mac knows it. Loogie knows it. The audience, everybody knows it.
Yeah, but I'm an independent thinker.
You know it.
I'm an independent thinker.
You know it.
Well, let's see what happens if he plays against Chicago. Let's just see what happens.
Is Zach Wilson the starting quarterback opening day next year?
Probably not.
No. Oh, so then you know it.
Probably
Then
not.
Joe Douglas knows it.
But I got 7 games left, don't I? Is that my number 7?
Yeah.
I got 7 games left. By the way, if coin flip guy is right, and we lose to the Bears,
right?
If we lose to the Bears with Zach, then he's clearly not going to be starting after that.
Right, so then what happens?
What if Mike White or Joe Flacco, it's going to be one of them two, right, leads the Jets on 5 straight wins to end the season, a wild card win, a divisional win, and a tough loss in the AFC Championship game?
Right.
Then what do you do?
Mickety, Mike White, come on.
Mickety, Mike White.
It's very simple.
Mickety, Mike White.
Here's what you do.
Mickety, Mike White.
You take Mike White.
It's so bad.
You take Mike White, and you take every future first-round pick you own, and you drive it down to Baltimore for Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson's going to be franchised. We can't get him. We can't get Jimmy Garoppolo. We can't get Tom Brady.
I just said a trade, though. And don't mention Tom Brady's name. Don't mention his name. Wait a second. You're good with Tom Brady, but not Aaron Rodgers at this point?
Yep.
Oh, God.
Yep, I am. Because Tom Brady's the GOAT. Aaron Rodgers isn't.